Before we get into this review, I want to take you back in time for a second. If you were alive during that time, or if you grew up in this era, I just want you to think about this for a second. And it was like the late 90s, early 2000s was whenever Disney was like known for making like these direct to VHS DVD sequels, and they were obviously of like low quality. They weren't like anything special. The animation was lesser, the voice cast might not even appear in it, and the adventures were overall like lesser quality. They were like nothing compared to the original movies. But you know what the one thing about them is the fact that they never went to theaters. There was a reason why they were direct to DVD, was because they were always seen as lesser than. Now, even though that was like good for business wise, in my personal opinion, I think it like diluted the brand by having these like lesser known movies and just like overall just trash in my opinion, even though there were some gems in there. Overall, the point was the fact that Disney never allowed their lesser animation, their lesser storytelling to make it to the big screen. And you know what? This really just shows me that Disney never learns. And in fact, they learn nothing at all, honestly. Because with Moana 2, I think it is by far one of the worst sequels ever made. I think it is one of Disney's worst, in my opinion, because when it comes to Disney sequels, I don't think that Disney can make good sequels. I think Pixar really can make good sequels. I think DreamWorks makes fantastic sequels, but with Disney sequels, I think the reason why I don't think they can make sequels is because the stories that they tell never really lend themselves to being furthered upon. Like, take for example something like Frozen. Even though I think it's a great movie, yeah, sure, you could tell more stories, but like, there isn't really a necessary need except for money. And with Moana 2, you can clearly see that, because you may or may not know, Moana 2 was supposed to be a Disney Plus show, and I think it clearly shows, because first off, the animation, it is nothing like the original. Like the characters, the creatures that they find, it honestly, it reminds me so much of, and I'm really going to date myself here, whenever I grew up watching Kung Fu Panda Legends of Awesomeness, when they had like these like weird wacky creatures that you wouldn't find in the movie. Because I think it's clearly apparent whenever you watch a TV show that's based off a movie that has like all of these like different wacky characters that you wouldn't find in a TV show, and this really does it, because this really feels like an adventure of the week with the different types of creatures and monsters that they fight in this. And you could really tell that this is a TV show, because like every 20 to 30 minutes you could tell whenever an episode starts and ends and all that stuff. Like, you can clearly tell by that. And I think like Moana lends itself to having a sequel, and the fact that they weren't really too keen on making this a movie due to the recent flops really shows this. Because as I stated on this channel with my review of Wish last year and the year prior with Strange World, is the fact that Disney outside of Encanto has been flopping recently really hard. And it's honestly sad to watch, because I think in all of their other avenues, especially this year, they've been really good, because Deadpool and Wolverine, Inside Out 2, both of them were really financially successful and made a lot of money, both critically and financially. They were really solid films. And while Moana 2 is really gonna make money, and I mean like it is breaking the bank right now, like I think it made over 300 million in the first weekend. So like, where were you guys for Transformers 1? And honestly, I don't really blame them, because honestly, if you're a parent taking your kid to see this movie, would you really care that this was supposed to be a Disney Plus show? Like, either way, it's just, you don't care. You don't care. And my thing with this is like, there are way better movies out right now. I wanted to review this, but I didn't have time because I was studying in Rome. But I watched Wicked, and that was an amazing movie, 10 out of 10 in my personal opinion. But, and like I said, being the fact that I didn't review it, you can actually look at my letterbox there to see that. Along with that, you can also, comment, like, for the video if you enjoyed it, and all that stuff. I also have Twitter and Instagram and all that other stuff and all that. But besides that, along with the story, is the fact that this movie, or this TV show turned into a movie, is like the worst I've seen of like characters of all time. Because in this movie, Moana has like this crew, and it's even worse. because in this movie, both Moana and Maui are kind of separated for like half of the movie because they're doing their own things. And partially what I really love about the first movie is the dynamic between both of them, but being the fact that they're like separated for like half the movie, it's just like she's stuck with the peanut gallery over here, and I, for the life of you, can't even like tell you half of their names. Like I don't think I remember a single character in this movie from the crew. Like none of them do anything. Like the only one that does anything important is like this one that fixes boats. The rest of them I can't even tell you what they do or what their purpose is. But along with that is the fact that like the songs here, oh dude, the songs are a massive downgrade. Like I know the guy from Hamilton did the first songs and he's not here, and damn bro, I can really feel it because the sauce is not there. They were not cooking with this one, pal. It's not at all. And along with that is like with like the whole villain of this movie and the fact that they're setting up for a sequel. Because in this movie, they have like this like bat lady who's supposed to be like a god herself. Maybe, I don't know. And like she's kind of interesting, I guess. But like I thought she would have been in the movie more because she's only in like a couple of scenes and then just pieces out of there. But in this movie, they literally, I'm not even kidding here, they have like an MCU style post-credit scene where like the main bad guy of this movie goes like, I'm gonna do something about what the main characters did. And I'm like, wow, you know what? I'm not surprised that they're confident in having a sequel because this movie is going to make a ton of money. So like, hey, good on ya. And even better with the post-credits scene is the fact that they have Tamatoa. So I know for a fact Shea Frillis is going to be happy about that. But wow, no, this movie is... Wait, I just forgot about this. So in the post-credit scene with the main bad guy, the villain, like the god or whatever, he looks exactly like the Hog Rider from like that mobile game. You know what I'm talking about? I'm getting off topic. But the point is the fact that this movie is really like has nothing going for it. It is so generic and so bland. And I feel really bad because I feel like whenever Moana first came out, I overlooked it because it came out the same year as Zootopia, which I hold in high regard as like one of Disney's best films to date. And now looking back at it, I really think that they had lightning in a bottle with that first movie because this is really not it, like at all. But yeah, that's really about it. Like this movie isn't bad or anything by any means. I think if you're just going, just wanting to have fun, I think it's a decent time out with, you know, like with family and friends and all that stuff. But as someone that really thinks that Disney makes really stellar animation, great movies, great storytelling that goes above and beyond between just being like just like a kid's film and being, you know, more for like, you know, like for families and the whole audience watching, this is really just like a major disappointment. And the fact that Disney is going to make $1 billion off of this, it's really disappointing to me because I don't know if you know this as well, but this movie wasn't fully produced by Walt Disney Animation Studios, like the studio that has made every single movie up until this point. Because being the fact that this was a Disney Plus show, they obviously gave the work off to a Canadian studio, I think. And the fact that the recent Disney movies were flopping recently, it might incentivize Disney to not want to use like their actual animation team and then just to go into secondary sources and secondary teams to make their movies. And that's really depressing to me because even though movies like Strange World or even Wish to some extent are exactly like stellar movies, I think their animation is beautiful, like absolutely amazing. And I'm talking more in Strange World. Wish, I don't know what happened there. I'm not gonna lie. I'm sorry. I can't defend that one. But yeah, no, that's really about it. Like I said, if you like this video, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. I really wanted this to be good, but you know what, man? At least we have Sonic 3 coming out. we have Shadow.
This is what you get, my super laser piss! Except I'm not gonna piss on the earth. I'm gonna go higher. I'm pissing on the moon! I'm trying to make an announcement. Shadow the Hedgehog's a bitch.